Here we go.
Hi everyone, Michelle here with New Possibilities, and today I am sitting down to chat with Dr. Todd Oskowski from the Functional Medicine Wellness Center. He's over here in the atrium in Flower Mound off of 1171. And we're talking about how his office, he is a chiropractor, but he has far more than just chiropractic tools in his tool belt. You started your undergraduate, and we know Dr. Todd Oskowski as Dr. Ozzie because my girls have come to Dr. Ozzie. So he started his undergrad as pre-med, then you went in and your graduate program was with chiropractic. You went the chiropractic route, and then dove into applied kinesiology, dove into functional medicine, and now is diving into functional neurology as well. So with your office, there's far more than just, it's not, as you say, cracking a back. It's you know, there's adjustment that goes on, but you have the ability to empower your clients with the ability to, you can bring in your blood work. If you have blood work done and perhaps you don't understand what the levels are, or someone says, oh, look at this, your blood work's fine, and you don't feel fine, you can actually come in to Dr. Ozzie. He can sit down with you, read it, explain it out to you. He's very, very good at breaking it down into a very understandable piece. Okay. So tell us how you empower your clients, the different parts of the puzzles that you use to empower your clients to understand what's going on with them.
Good questions. Probably the most, and we were touching base on this before, Bruce Ames out of Berkeley University. He's a geneticist, and a lot of patients will come in and they really feel they're doomed. Right? I've got this in my family, that in my family. It's genetic. I can't get away from it. And Bruce Ames talks about the fact that only about 20%, maybe 10% is your genes, and about 80 to 90% is your lifestyle choices in your environment. So that tells us that we're really in the driver's seat, right? Which is nice. That's empowering, right? So instead of just saying, man, there's nothing I can do, you know, it's going to happen, and then just getting more stressed and causing more of a problem. So we look at that and go, okay, the things that cause our genes to have a problem are our environment, and our environment can be physical stresses, chemical stresses, and mental emotional stresses. So I think where we do well is we start to mix all that. So chiropractic can be really good for structure, but we may take it a step further and use more so chiropractic as receptor-based therapy. So you're using it to stimulate nervous system to get a desired effect of the nervous system back into the body, so that communication.
Your brain is activated in certain areas that it needs to be activated, or is communicating with another area that hasn't been communicated with well.
Right, correct. And so we can be more site specific. So for instance, I don't know that there's even a pharmaceutical out there that can just kind of manifest or work on mainly right brain or mainly left brain activity. And we can start to do that with different things that we do in the office, which again can have a profound effect on how the nervous system is communicating with the body. And so why would that be important? Sometimes we'll have patients and they, doc, I'm eating great. I've had the best nutrition. I'm just not kind of getting the benefits that I think I should be getting. And a lot of times, again, it's because the nervous system, it's like a marriage between brain and body, or, you know, your marriage between your wife and your husband, or, you know, family members. If there's good communication, typically good relationship, good marriage. Bad communication, not so much. And so the nervous system could be so stressed that it's not understanding what you're putting in it. And so now
understanding how to utilize it properly.
Exactly. So a lot of times it's kind of in one end, you know, out the other end. So we're not getting the benefits out of that. And so when we start to get into more functional neurology, you're stimulating the nervous system. So it's more understanding of, oh, that's why I'm taking vitamin C, or that's why I'm taking vitamin D. There must be an immune system problem. And we've talked about that, where that's this new thing that called nutrigenomics, right? So more that food is actually information, not just food. That's Jeffrey Bland, PhD, runs Metagenics, a huge company. And again, nutrigenomics, right? So it's just kind of getting in that idea that food is actually information, and the brain's got to be able to analyze and utilize that information.
And it needs to have the proper information,
right?
The proper food, the proper supplements. So if you are working together with them, you pinpoint their stressors, you sit down and talk with them, you pinpoint what's going on, underlying whatever symptoms they're seeing on the surface, And then you said about trying to repair whatever situation is there that is creating those symptoms that they're having.
Yeah.
And you were saying that you use nutrition, you use education, you sit down with them and educate them on what they need to know, what they need to understand, so that they do feel that they're in the driver's seat. Right. You say you use nutraceuticals, your supplements, and again, targeted, so that you have the best sort of supplement for that sort of individual and that sort of situation.
Yeah, that's super important. So we'll talk about patients. A lot of times they'll get things, but it's just on a grander scale. Well, everybody's getting that. Well, does that work for you or not? So you may say this supplement or this herb is the next greatest and best thing. Well, that's nice, but how do you know it's the best thing for you? And we've had patients taking a lot of stuff, and they may be taking something that's actually making them worse, because that isn't where they are at that moment in time. It's not that it wasn't a good supplement. It wasn't that they didn't need it at some time, but at that now we don't need it anymore, or we need to put it on the shelf for a little while and maybe come back to it, because we got to focus and address some other things. So we can, look at blood work. We can do, there's muscle testing, the applied kinesiology.
We should talk about that muscle testing. So if you have something that you have either been prescribed or you're taking it, you've decided to go out and take this, could be an excellent supplement, as you said. Yeah. He has the ability to muscle test to find out whether that supplement works well with your body. And he can find out in a matter of moments whether that supplement is indeed something that benefits your individual body at that individual time and situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and again, so you can use what's called gustatory receptors, which is what's on your tongue, or olfactory stimulation. So we're utilizing nervous system to see if that has a change in the body, positive or negative, right? And that's actually been proven with functional MRIs to see if it's impacting. That comes back to the nutrigenomics, that food is information, and we can use receptors in the body or on the tongue or with the smelling to actually see if that is having a positive effect or not. So yeah, you can instantaneously tell. So I've had patients where they're actually driving a system too much. They need to back it off and then use something else to kind of catch up, and then maybe come back to the supplement. So we'll see that plateau, or doc, I was doing really well and now I start feeling bad again. And again, that might be part of the problem. So the applied kinesiology is super, super helpful for that.
So you also have a really fantastic website and patient portal that you have implemented that I would like you to talk to us about, because you have some really great
stuff.
Some really great stuff on there. You need to go look at it.
I guess great. What would be the word we're looking for? Great, so that it's more convenient. I guess
yes,
would be
it's
the
very user-friendly.
Yes, user-friendly. Just so you can have a patient portal, more like patients. I can't physically get into the office. Right, we can still look at blood work, urine analysis, saliva testing. So when you go to the website, we can book online now. We can actually have a patient portal where you can upload documents, and we can have a virtual meeting kind of on, I think we're going to use Ring Central, and we can have a virtual meeting that actually goes over your blood work. And I think that's something important. Again, more tools in the toolbox.
Yes,
and we look at
from anywhere in the world.
Anywhere in the world, yes. So if you got people, in Canada or wherever, Mexico, it doesn't matter. We can look at their blood work, analyze the information, and then go, okay, these are some of the things we see. And I think what's important about that is most patients will come in, and I bet you 99.9% of them, they come in, my blood work looks great. My doc said it's awesome. I'm healthy as a horse. And when you mentioned at the start, but you don't feel good. And I'll tell you right now, if you don't feel the best you are, you couldn't possibly have good looking blood work. You just can't. Right? Because if you did, you'd feel phenomenal all the time. So the reason that happens is not your medical doctors being mean. And what we're taught in school is that these huge reference ranges, and those reference ranges come from the average person going to that laboratory. So who goes?
But the people who are going to the laboratory are so sick.
Exactly.
Especially in this country.
Yes.
All the people that are getting their blood work done, it's not because they're happy, jolly, healthy.
Right.
Yikes.
Because they're sick. So it doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's how we do it. So you could be in the reference range, but really just be as sick as the next person. And so, again, it doesn't have anything to do with health. So we look at American Association of Clinical Chemists, just peer-reviewed literature that says, okay, this is normal physiology for a human being. No matter if you're in Canada, Europe, Texas, doesn't matter. So everybody gets the same numbers, right? And then we analyze that. Now, if you're outside of those range, you can't go saying we have a disease, but we definitely can be dysfunctioning. And then we start asking, if this number is this way, you probably have this symptom. Do you? And most patients say, yes, I feel exactly like that. Okay, well, that's why. This is starting to be a problem for you. And it might not be at the disease standpoint yet, but
you can catch it ahead of time and head off something that could be far worse later on.
Down the road. Absolutely. So in my opinion, true prevention, right? So we want to look at that.
An ounce of prevention is worth
a pound of cure.
10 pounds of cure.
Absolutely.
I mean,
yeah. So we really wanted, so we can do that, look at that, and then fine tune some things, and really give some people some answers, because a lot of times they go home and now you're more stressed because you think, oh gosh, it's just me, I'm a fool, it's all in my head, because there's nothing on the, when in reality, no, there's plenty on the blood work. We just don't, we're not taught to analyze it. Yes, exactly. Because we're looking just for pathology or just for disease. So if a disease isn't present, go home until you have disease, right? And that's obviously not a good idea. Yeah. We talked about that, mentioning about repairing, right? So part of our process here is that we want to figure out, well, what's the problem? What are the stressors? Then we identify them. That's great. But the second part, and most people don't do, like, okay, you might say, oh, I've got a gluten problem, so I took it out, but I didn't repair the damage. So repairing the damage is super, super important, and most people don't do that, right? So they never really get back to a state of health. Yeah. So that's another thing to focus on.
Or they think that they think, oh, I took this out and I didn't get better, so, oh, it must not have been that. I'm going to put it back in, and the ball starts rolling farther and faster.
Farther downstream. Yeah. So, so that's all of those things. The physical stresses we want to focus on, and that's, again, more of the applied kinesiology, functional neurology. It's just a little bit more, not the chiropractic's bad, just a little bit more specific, or a lot more specific. And then we get into the chemistry, right? That's the functional medicine, and really focusing on it from a biochemical standpoint, what your body is made of, right? So Linus Pauling, only 2-time Nobel Prize winner, solo ever, and he did orthomolecular medicine. A lot of his stuff was on vitamin C. I think that was one of his Nobel Prizes. And orthomolecular means right molecules medicine. So I want to use the right molecules at the right time for the right person. And that's vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, enzymes, and hormones. That's what our body's made of. So I want to regulate that shift biochemically first. And then if that doesn't create the change that I want, then I want to look at maybe taking a med. But we would want to start there first to see if that doesn't change or fix the symptom. Right. And it's definitely going to help the body heal itself, right? So we talk about innate. Innate is your body's inborn ability to heal, right? So you get a cut, it heals itself. You break an arm, sure, orthopedic will cast it, but it heals internally itself. So your body has the ability to do that when
all the conditions are right.
Yeah. Absolutely. So there's another, I think it's Bernard, can't remember his last name. He was friends with Louis Pasteur, and he basically said it's the internal velu, which means it's the internal environment. So it's not the outside that gets us sick. It's if we're don't have good soil on the inside. Yeah. So take care of the soil, and take care of the body.
Will take care of itself.
Yeah, it's got everything it's needs. So.
And these guys I will link in the comments, they have family plans. You have a wellness plan that kind of breaks it down and makes it much more economical to be able to come in. And it can be very scary to be in the driver's seat. Oh, it's not just my genes, or it's not just this. It can be scary to know that this is in your hands. Your health is in your hands. You do have the ability to heal and to be responsible for your own health. And it can be a lot, but you have support. You have plenty of support. And, with these health plans, you can come in over a time period and get that support that you need so that you're not going it all on your own. You have a guide.
Yeah, absolutely. Got a coach. Awesome. Right? And you need it, because I think it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of times we wouldn't take a med without having a doc. And I honestly think that trying to treat your body this way, because it's all intertwined, is probably a million times harder than I got this symptom, take this med. Yeah. Right. So
because there's so many
things. So, and so many patients try and do it on their own, when I would think this is actually more complicated than if you were to take a med. And you would never do that. Yeah. You would go in, I'm going to have a doc prescribe it for me. Yeah. Right. So again, yes, you need the coach, need the help. And that's definitely our area. It's what we want to do. If you look at the body that way, again, you're empowered. And I think on the flip side of that is, we always think, well, I'm not going to get better. What's the benefit? But Our is no. We want you to have life, vitality, energy, sleep well. So it's not just, oh gosh, I've got to take the responsibility and there's nothing great. There's something great at the end of that.
Absolutely.
That rainbow is okay. We really want people to live a phenomenal life and best
loads of energy.
Yes.
Wonderful health, no aches, no pains. You can eat what you want and do what you want and think clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then just.
But you do have to value it.
Yes.
More than your next new cell phone and your next new car or whatever. You have to value your health and be willing to invest in your health too. And you're worth it. Your health is worth it. Family's worth it.
100%.
To chew on.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Ozzie, for talking with us today. And I will see you guys again soon. Take care.
Have a blessed day. Yeah. So you know what? I don't know. You may be. I don't know if it's like if I can mess with it, right? Like from here, like if there's anything. So that's end meeting.
Yeah. Yes. So the next time that I'm videoing, please don't try to talk to me in the